brought to you by my big cartel shop, link in the description below. October 19th, 1999, MF Doom drops his declaration of war against the rap industry with the release of Operation Doomsday. An album renowned for its clever writing, phenomenal self-production, and its whimsical portrayal of Zevlov X as the newly invented persona of MF Doom. Over the years, Operation Doomsday has aged into one of the finest underground rap albums of the 90s. But if we peel back and look past the start of a legendary career, we find something a little more ominous. Buried beneath its eccentric comic book exterior lies Doom's true intentions. This true goal of his is revealed to us on the album's title track, Doomsday. A song which, uncharacteristically of Doom, contains a lot of lyrics pertaining to his personal life, something rarely seen throughout the rest of his discography. And it's on this song that we catch a glimpse of insight into Doom's intentions for the rap industry. Despite my characterization of Operation Doomsday as a declaration of war, the album reads less like a manifesto and more like a subliminal message.
Smoke.
Doom sort of just casually drops that line and never really elaborates. So to truly understand Doom's villainous approach to dealing with the music industry, you must first take a look back to the early 90s and the era of KMD.
Oh, you going all old school on me, huh?
As many of us know, before Doom donned the mask, he was known as Zevlov X and the crew KMD, a cause for good in a much damaged society. Composed of 3 members including himself, his younger brother Subrock, and Onyx the Birthstone Kid. The crew's first taste of recognition came in late 1989, when MC Search of Third Base featured Zev on the track, The Gas Face.
A special appearance by KMD's Zevlov X. A gas face.
Subrock makes an appearance in the music video and is also responsible for giving MC Search his third base haircut. It was this brief appearance that caught the attention of A&R representative Dante Ross. Ross, as a talent scouter, saw the potential in KMD, and in 1990 assisted the crew by getting them signed to major label Elektra Records. Following the Gas Face and their subsequent record deal with Elektra, the trio got to work over the next year on what would become their debut album, Mr. Hood. Released in 1991, Mr. Hood received a warm reception, with singles like Peach Fuzz and Who Me propelling up the charts. Shortly after the release of Mr. Hood, Zev and Onyx would make an appearance before Congress, in support of Rock the Vote's Motor Voter Bill.
We're from the rap group KMD. Now, I'm 19 years old, right? And before 3 months ago, when I first met Steve Barr, I really knew nothing about politics. I didn't deal with it,
And for the next year and a half, information regarding the group becomes very scarce. I presume the group celebrated their success while slowly putting together the concept for their next project. It's around this time that Onyx would quietly leave the group before he contributed anything to KMD's second album. Reasoning as to why Onyx left remains unknown, but it was presumably on good terms, and there's never been anything to suggest otherwise.
The faith of Islam is one of the things that brought me into brotherhood with Subrock and Doom. Always on their porch with a couple other friends from the Get Yours crew. On skateboards, doing graffiti, coming back from runs, grabbing comic books.
Fast forward to late 1992, the remaining members of KMD put together the foundation for what would become their sophomore album, Black Bastards. With everything in place, the duo began recording sessions in March of '93, making good progress up until April 23rd. Purportedly, after a night of psychedelics, Subrock headed home. And after hopping off the Long Island Railroad, Subrock was unfortunately struck by a car when attempting to cross the 878 Nassau Expressway. As someone who has driven regularly on this highway, I gotta say, that is a bold highway to attempt to cross on foot. And this next part is neither here or there, but the locations don't really add up to me. Sub lived between Riverside Boulevard and Long Beach Road. And if he took the Long Island Railroad, that means he would have been able to get off at the Long Beach station that was only a few blocks from his house. So why was he over 5 miles away crossing the 879? Keep in mind, I'm not a Long Island local, so maybe there's something I don't know about. Either that or there's some information we're unaware of, or maybe it wasn't even on that particular highway. It's worth mentioning that there are conflicting reports, with some claiming it was the Long Island Expressway, which also doesn't make sense to me considering how far it is from Long Beach. On top of that, to further complicate this tragedy, there's been suspicion of foul play. In a now archived interview, rapper Cage elaborates on being the last person with Subrock. He mentions that some people claim to have seen Sub running into traffic, while others claim that he was chased into traffic, and that the cops never bothered to investigate it any deeper and simply closed the case. The nature of Sub Rock's passing is way beyond the scope of this video. The point is, Sub unfortunately passes away before the album is fully completed, leaving Doomlay to wrap up the album as the sole remaining member of KMD. According to Dante Ross, KMD's creative process began with Doom starting a song but having very little patience, and it would always fall on Sub Rock to finish the track. But now, in a dark, twisted way, Doom had to be the one to complete the music.
And now Doom had to do what Sub usually did. It was his turn to finish it.
Recordings for Black Bastards would wrap up in the later half of 1993, with the album being delivered to Elektra right before the holidays, and the album's artwork being submitted shortly after. Everything seemed good. The album and its artwork were approved, advances went out, and everyone agreed Black Bastards was a step up from Mr. Hood. A more mature and refined record, a worthy sophomore album.
I thought that they had leveled up.
Absolutely.
And I know people who had the record. John Schechter, I gave him a copy, I believe, and I think Stretch had it. I know Bob had it, Pete had it, and the consensus was that it was a much better record.
With all that being said, Elektra granted the album a release date for May 3rd of 1994. With the album fully completed, the only thing left to do was to promote the album for its upcoming release. Elektra began sending out promotional copies of KMD's second album to industry executives within their reach. Business as usual. No one involved could have foreseen the absolute shit show that would ensue. It began with one review by Terry Rossi of Billboard, who slammed the album for its provocative cover art.
She also was critical about the record, and she caused a big sting. And she was connected to a lot of big dogs in the music industry.
You may ask, did she actually listen to the album? Hello? Terry?
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Adding more fuel to the fire came in the form of Billboard's rap journalist, Havelock Nelson. Nelson followed up with his own article condemning the album's artwork, title, and the title of the album's only single.
President of Elektra was getting all the shit from Sylvia Rome and all these people, and the person who fucked it up for us was the person who we were really close with, Havelock Nelson, who wrote for Billboard.
Havelock Nelson and Terry Rossi. Havelock wrote the first rap column for Billboard, and Terry Rossi wrote for the Monday Morning Monitor, which was a radio recap. But Havelock, who was a friend of mine, I thought, threw it to the wolves and said that we were irresponsible, the label, meaning we were irresponsible in putting the record out. I thought it was foul. And he could have picked up the phone and talked to me or talked to Doom or Pete. He knew all of us. And he didn't even try to do that.
Elektra folded almost immediately, looking to extinguish any negative PR. And for a brief moment, Warner Music, Elektra's parent company, called for a meeting with Doom and Dante Ross. Present at this hearing would be bigwigs such as former CEO of Time Warner, Richard Parsons, the aforementioned Terry Rossi of Billboard, Sylvia Rohn, who was a top-ranking executive at Elektra's sister label, Atlantic Records, as well as multiple other high-ranking people. This meeting, however, would never take place. Instead, the morning of the proposed hearing, the board simply instructed Ross to return the masters of the album back to Zev, and to give him $20,000 in compensation to leave the label, $40,000 in today's money.
They didn't even give Doom or us a chance. We even had Bill Adler like working on the side, doing some PR, and they just totally dropped that shit after putting like a decent amount of money into the album.
So they couldn't do a new cover or?
No, it was there was not even a chance to do a new cover. It's like, we're dropping you.
Zev would attempt to get the album released several more times, but was met with dead end after dead end. Due to all the controversy attached to KMD and Black Bastards, no other label wanted it.
Every label passed on picking up that album at the time, and it just shows you how
hot.
Welcome to the music business, an industry where out-of-touch executives get to essentially blacklist you because of a simple misinterpretation.
The Sambo character is an anti-racist, it's anti-Sambo, showing how crazy it is.
He was killing the myth of Sambo, putting it to rest, right? And I think when you look at the artwork, it's a powerful statement.
To add further insult, Black Bastards was heavily bootlegged throughout the rest of the 90s, proving that there was clear interest and demand for the album in spite of any controversy. This was the final nail in the coffin for KMD and Zev Love X.
Operation Doomsday.
If you'd like to learn how the events of KMD altered MF Doom's career moving forward, stay tuned by subscribing and turning on notifications, as that topic will be covered in my very next video.